if not centuries. Many of these women are mothers. Children can be greatly affected from witnessing domestic violence abuse. Troy Newman of Operation Rescue attributes the closing of hundreds of abortion clinics to the work of his organization, therefore saving babies. He makes no mention of following the lives of said safe children to ensure that they have adequate food, shelter, education, or a family who loves them. Sam Lee of Campaign Life Missouri wonders of the women seeking abortions. How do we inform them of the alternatives that they may not be aware of that are available? Well, I'm pretty positive that any woman who finds herself pregnant understands she can have an abortion, have a baby and be a mother, or have a baby and give them up for adoption. There are no infinite options once you are pregnant. This same man thinks that legislation needs to be created that targets women who leave the state seeking an abortion. Brian Westberg of Coalition Life says if his organization had the staffing, they would be outside of 788 abortion clinics nationwide to give sidewalk counseling to women seeking services. In any given year, red states introduce dozens of abortion restriction laws. I think of the infinite time, money, and brain power invested in creating new ways to control women, restrict their reproductive freedom. What if these resources were poured into fighting social injustices and helping the lives of vulnerable children? The World Health Organization states that barriers to safe, timely, affordable, non-discriminatory care that is in close proximity is a violation to women's and rights to privacy and right to equality. Abortion regulations that force extended travel or require mandatory counseling or waiting periods not only burden health systems, but cause women to incur travel costs, loss of income, or the need to resort to unsafe abortion. The United Nations classifies forced pregnancy as torture and human rights violation. Controlling if and when a woman has children or how many children she will have is the epitome of patriarchy. Denying women access to abortion will ultimately affect her education, career, and how far she can go in life. Senator Amy Klobuchar said, "We cannot allow a world where our daughters have fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers." We need to stand up and speak out on these injustices. Use your voice however you can. Use your social media and tell everyone we will not go back. Call the lawmakers in Ohio. Tell them we need legislation that is protecting our right to choose, our gender equality, and our quality of life. Defend our right to choose. Defend the future for our daughters. Defend Roe.
I am just an ordinary person, like all of you, answering a call to action. And I hope you all realize how important your voices are. It just takes one of us to make a stand. But together, that's true power. But honestly, I'm also disappointed that we have to be here at all. I'm disappointed, and I'm tired, and I'm scared. Mostly, I'm angry. How many times do we have to fight this fight? This may be the first event for some of you, but for others, how many times have you done this? Once should have been enough. Not even a year out of high high school, when I was 19 years old, I got pregnant. My partner and I didn't have jobs. We lived with family. We were children. We didn't know what to do, and I'll be frank, our sex education was pitiful. I've had to teach myself almost everything I know about women's bodies on my own as an adult. So I didn't know I was pregnant until I was 3 months along. My mom stepped in to help me, and she set an appointment at a clinic right here in Columbus. I had an abortion just a few days before the second trimester. We could afford the laughing gas, but no pain medication. There were fish on the ceiling, and I stared at them the whole time. The gas made them swim, but I felt everything that was happening. I'm 28 now, and I can still remember everything. This decision was the hardest I have ever made. My partner and I cried about it from the day we found out I was pregnant to the day of the procedure. It is not a choice that I made lightly. This is not something women do for fun or because it's the easy way out. It's not. The emotional scars last forever, and to be indirectly called a murder by family, friends, and neighbors, all because they have no idea that I had done it. Well, if any of you hear this, now you know. I made the right choice for myself, and if I could go back knowing all that I know now, and the trauma that has stayed with me, I'd still get an abortion. I can happily say that I had my dream wedding last month, and I just graduated college with honors last week. These are things that I put off, yes, but I absolutely would not have been able to do them if I had not been the person that got an abortion. But this is just one story with a lucky ending. Not everyone is so fortunate. For any reason at all that a person wants or needs an abortion, they should have one. Taking that away is only going to lead to unsafe abortions. And to the men in the Supreme Court and anyone else who holds office, I'm a person just like you. I'm a living and thinking person with experiences and ambitions. You can see me, you can hear me, you can communicate with me, with all of the people here. You cannot threaten our rights, and you cannot take our autonomy. Thank you.
All right, so I guess it's my turn now. So 4 years ago in September was my abortion, and when I say my abortion saved my life, I mean it with every ounce of my being. I had been with this man 3 weeks before he manipulated me into allowing him to remove my IUD and to get me pregnant. I had my first appointment alone. They told me my due date was April 27th. When I went home that night, he had locked me out of the apartment. His phone was off, and he told me he made a mistake and he was leaving. He gave up the daughter he had already and disappeared. As the day progressed, I discovered he'd been using his money on drugs, lied about his job, and I got a call from a detective stating that he was under investigation for thousands of dollars worth of equipment theft from a previous job. The second everything came together, I started researching my options. If he treated me this way now at 7 weeks pregnant with his child, how would he treat me in the future? Regardless of if I could do it or not, if I continued that pregnancy, I would have killed myself. I believe that wholeheartedly. Keeping that baby would have been guaranteed suffering for me and for that child. As a mother, your job is to protect and love your children, and I think someone who chooses to protect their child from hurt and harm and just an awful, terrible life is the ultimate mother. No matter... I love you. No matter what I felt, I saved their life as well. I had a medication abortion at Founders here in Columbus when they were still open. And not one single time did he ask me what I was going to do. He didn't care.
I wasn't of use to him anymore. I remember him telling me if something happened, he would take that baby away and I would never see him again. That wasn't a life for anyone to live. I refused to be a prisoner for the rest of my life. There has never been a single day that I regretted my abortion. I've been sad, sure, but that day I chose myself, I chose my mental sanity, I chose my own safety. It's that simple. I had to decide to live for myself. I have a very Catholic extended family, and ever since that day, I've discovered that people who have known you since you were born care more about themselves than they do your ability to live your life. They would rather defend that than watch you blossom. I am more than a uterus used to create more humans. People are so pro-life, but when will they care about my life or our lives?
Amen.
It's no surprise that Ohio is willing to put our lives at risk to be baby-making machines. We cannot let these god-awful reps and congressmen be elected again. We have to elect pro-abortion candidates. We have to donate directly to clinics and local abortion funds. The Aggie Fund, Women Have Options, preterm, it'll be a cold day in hell when I stop helping people access abortions and I let some old-ass man tell me what I can and cannot do with my life. No one should ever feel the way that I felt that day. You deserve the greatest life and what is best for you, and your story is valid. When we started this organization, I could have never dreamed this is where this would lead. Thank you for being here and for reminding me more than anything else, we are not alone. You are appreciated and adored more than you know. We have a long road ahead of us, but I know in my heart that it's going to be okay.
Well, I have no idea how many speakers are left. Let's see what that last one, but I don't know. Apparently there's some sort of other thing going on over there, which is kind of interesting.
Unless
Who
anyone
knows?
else wants to come up and speak, which you're more than welcome to, tell us your story. We'd love to hear it.
Hi there, my name is Jennifer. I am one of the people that will get left behind by a lot of these bills. About a year ago, I almost died from an ectopic. I was 3 months from my wedding, I believe, about to finish my master's degree in public health, and making up my way up the ladder at a children's hospital. Unfortunately, I had 2 doctors tell me that everything was fine. I had been using protection